All right, let's speak to the ANC's outgoing NEC member, as well as the national, of course, work with Women's League, rather, ANC TOS team member. And she's also, remember, a former president of the Women's League. Bathabile Dlamini joins us live now. Dlamini, thank you so much for your time this evening. Let's just start with conference wrapping up. I know that you're meeting again in January. What has been your thoughts and your view on how things have unfolded so far?
I think when leadership is elected, you have to try and give them a chance. And they must also lead by example. Unity is a two-way process. It is not a one-way process, and a unity must be in action. So we expect a lot of action. We expect to work together, and we expect the leadership to put more effort in ensuring that the challenges that are faced by the country are dealt with. And yeah, I think for me that is very important, and that we must really try and ensure that we keep the promise we've made to the people. And unity is very sacrosanct in the ANC. It should not be just by a word of mouth. It should be seen in action. So I think everyone, all members of the ANC, must try and work together, give the leadership and opportunity to lead. And the leadership must ensure that it is always on the ground with the people, because there has been a lack of conduct between the people and the leadership.
How much of a possibility is that, though, given what we've seen within the ANC? I mean, the ructions, the multiple voices have been laid bare. I mean, right now, we were speaking to this evening, SAFTU's GS, and that is Mr. Zwelinzima Vavi. And he says that looking at what is happening with former President Jacob Zuma and the current president, it's something that he's never seen happen before, even while he was still inside, COSATU. And he says for him, that signals even an organization that is even in deeper trouble. And this particular process of unity and renewal may not even be a possibility right now.
It has always been the culture. I think we should put personalities aside. It has always been the culture of the ANC that when we go to conference, yes, there would be contestation. And after conference, we all have to support comrades that are elected. We all have to subject ourselves to the elected leadership. I think most of us listened to, more particularly, Comrade Mbalula, who was able to thank the presidents, former presidents, for coming to the conference. And we expect that our leaders must come together and try and deal with the challenges, because this thing did not start yesterday. It happened with Comrade Thabo, and it happened with Comrade Zuma. And it should not be a recurring thing. We should be thinking about how we are going to solve it, how we are going to sort it out, and we should not run away from it. Yes, it is difficult, but leaders always face challenges. They do not run away from them. Because if we run away from challenges, they build up, and when they build up, it's not easy to deal with them.
Let's talk about something that you posted on Twitter on the 12th of December. And I'm keen to understand exactly what you meant here. When you said something big is coming, something we all don't expect is about to be done by argent provocateurs. They don't want the conference, but they are doing all in their power to ensure conference becomes a festival of chairs. There is no sober-minded revolutionary that can allow this. Who are you talking about?
I'm not going to say who I was talking about, but I think what is outstanding about this conference is that branches stood up to challenge issues that have been there, that have not been sorted out in an organizational way. And those issues could have been solved even before the conference. That was my feeling.
What are some of those issues, if you're able to tell us?
Just deciding to suspend people. Why would you suspend people when we are going to conference? Why would the NEC take decisions and they are not implemented in the way that the NEC has decided on them? But luckily, we had delegates that were able to rise to the occasion and deal with those issues.
What are some of these? What are some of these issues that you say the NEC had decided on them?
I'm not going to go back there because it's issues that have been solved, and I'm happy with that. So I don't want to hold on things that dig down and create more differences. That is not my role.
Let's talk about.
My role is to try.
Pardon me for coming in there. Let's talk about something else that affects you personally. And I remember when you were speaking to Natasha Piri, this had actually cut deep for you, that you were not able to stand for NEC, elections. And now the organization deciding that you can now be one of those nominees. Talk to us about that. How do you respond then and react to that particular development?
Okay, it is humbling, firstly. To see other comrades standing up for you, but when they stand up, they don't stand up for you as an individual. They stand up for justice in the organization. And that should not be interpreted as something that is about maybe Andile Lungisa or Bathabile Dlamini. It's about the organization, because everything we do is about the organization. But also, when you get nominated, it does not mean you are in the NEC. What is important for me is that I still remain a member of the ANC. And I think for all members of the ANC, the feeling would be the same, remaining a member of the ANC in good standing and be allowed to serve, because our responsibility is to serve, and at all times you have to wait and listen to what the organization is saying to you. Sometimes it becomes very, very difficult. And I think as we move forward to January, there is a lot that still needs to be done. And in between these days, I'm sure the leadership will reflect on some of the issues. And when we finalize a conference, we would have reflected on how we are going to deal with some of the difficult issues we've been running away from.
And for you, which would be those issues that you've been running away from?
Just the way we do our work, the inclusivity, and ensuring that those that are elected and those that are not elected continue working together, trying to address issues of communities and understanding the membership we are leading, because it's also important to understand the membership and also understanding the role of the ANC as the leader of the society.
And Dlamini, if I may be able just to come in there, is this an ANC, though, that is able to understand the communities, as the president says, that, you know, at branch level, ANC members must be active and resolve the issues of the people? But is this an ANC that is not inward looking and focused on issues around contestation of its own elections rather than the issues of the people of South Africa? If we're still listening to your now Secretary General talking about issues of accelerating service delivery, it's nearly 3 decades that the ANC is in power. So certainly, is this an ANC that really is understanding what people are battling with if you're still talking about accelerating service delivery?
I think, yes, the ANC is an old organization, but 30 years in government, there are lessons we have learned. And you've spoken about the ANC that is inward looking. And this is one of the things we should deal with. We must not be inward looking, because when we do that, we end up fighting and not focusing on the real issues and on why the ANC was formed. The ANC is the organization of the people, and therefore it's important for the ANC to listen to the people and try and work with the people to meet their needs.
All right.
And we must be able, I think, to take big decisions, because also that is where I think we are lacking. We've been afraid to take big decisions that are going to make a real change in the quality of lives of the people.
All right, let's speak again in future, and also just after this meeting, of course, the reconvening in January, and see then how does an ANC begin to chart that way forward, especially when there are calls now for the branches to be at the heart of the issues of the people. But let's appreciate your time. I know it's been a long weekend. Thank you so much for your time. That is the former ANC Women's League President, and of course, she is the member of the Women's League task team, Bathabile Dlamini.